Kia ora te whānau a iho karaiti ko Andrew Doubleday aho. Today we're looking at the Gospel for Sunday the 17th of December. We're well into Advent. And it's John chapter 1 verses 6 through to 8 and 19 to 28. There's a bit of a gap between the two sections. And it concerns John the Baptizer, or the one we more commonly know as John the Baptist. There was a man sent from God whose name was John. He came as a witness to testify to the light, so that all might believe through him. He himself was not the light, but he came to testify to the light. Into verse 19. This is the testimony given by John, when the Jews sent priests and Levites from Jerusalem to ask him, "Who are you?" He confessed and did not deny it, but confessed, "I'm not the Messiah." And they asked him, "What then? Are you Elijah?" He said, "I am not." "Are you the prophet?" He answered, "No." Then they said to him, "Who are you? Let us have an answer for those who sent us. What do you say about yourself?" He said, "I'm the voice of one crying out in the wilderness. Make straight the way of the Lord, as the prophet Isaiah said." Now, they had been sent from the Pharisees. They asked him, "Why then are you baptizing if you are neither the Messiah, nor Elijah, nor the prophet?" John answered them, "I baptize with water. Among you stands one whom you do not know, the one who is coming after me. I'm not worthy to untie the thong of his sandal." This took place in Bethany, across the Jordan, where John was baptizing. My father died about 17 years ago. He'd been diagnosed about 18 months earlier with motor neuron disease. And I understood at the time that it's a difficult thing to diagnose. There's a kind of process that one goes through, the doctors go through. I got the sense that there is no specific diagnostic tool for motor neuron itself, or there wasn't then. It was simply what was left when all the other possibilities had been excluded. When you'd gone through and looked at all the other things that it at first looked like. Things like Parkinson's, things like multiple sclerosis. And where there were features of it that didn't fit with those, they could then be laid aside until ultimately the last one standing was motor neuron disease. It was diagnosed by what it wasn't. All the other things that it might have been were excluded. And motor neuron was diagnosed by eliminating all the other possibilities. Interesting. Each of us are many things. We fill many roles. For many of us, we're parents. We're all children. Many of us are siblings. We've got brothers and or sisters. Most of us have friends and neighbours. We have places where we go to, where we congregate, with groups that we gather with, like the church, that we're part of, where we offer the gifts and skills and energies that we possess and are able to engage, and the interests which we have and are able to pursue. Yet we're reminded as we consider the passage today that there is a place to acknowledge what we're not, what doesn't belong to us. John is clear about all the things that he isn't, all the roles that are his not to fulfill. He's not the light. He's not the Messiah. He's not Elijah. He's not the prophet. John is under no illusions about his part in the great scheme of things. He's also very clear about what his role is, and he pursues it with singular purpose. He's not the light, he's clear, but he's sent to point to the light. He's not the Messiah, he's sent to prepare the way for the Messiah who is already standing among them, as yet unrecognized and unacknowledged. John recognizes that this Messiah is so much greater than he himself, and it's his privilege to announce him. Like the doorman at a grand function, behold the Messiah. And that's all. That's his job. And he's honoured to have the role. He does it with total commitment and seriousness. He doesn't allow himself to be distracted with the things that he isn't. The things that he isn't called to the novel, the irrelevant. John is a man of clear focus. We, on the other hand, and maybe I need to own it for myself, live in a world full of distraction, with so much claiming my attention, our attention. So many possibilities in how we can spend our time, spend our money, ultimately frittering life away. It's said that the unexamined life isn't worth living. And I wonder how many of us will get to the end and look back and wonder what that was all about. So here we have John, focused and clear. It's true that he didn't have the myriad opportunities for distraction that we have. He didn't have email, the internet with all its alluring possibilities. There was no Netflix, no Spotify, no YouTube, no Facebook, no X or Twitter, no TikTok, Telegram or Instagram, no Amazon for online shopping. They didn't even have shopping malls, no menswear shops to have himself demonstrated to be the epitome of sartorial elegance. He just wore a camel head coat bound with a leather belt. That was it. It was probably all he possessed. Maybe not even any shoes or sandals. There was no fast food, no Macca's, no KFC, no Burger King or Pizza Hut, no Wendy's, no Subway, no cafes with flat whites and chicken and mushroom filos or cheese rolls, just locusts and wild honey. John was able to remain focused on the job at hand, that to which he had been called by God. I'm aware, as I've been engaging with this, that I could seriously take a leaf out of John's book. Steve Jobs, the founder and the guy who offered so much through Apple, he too recognized that he had many calls on his time and attention. And he became expert at saying no. I think he would have said that this was almost his superpower, his key to success, the things that he was able to say no to. And yet so many of us have so many inner calls of time wasters, the resource fritterers that claim my attention, the ready opportunities for me that feed my tendency to procrastination. Oh, I'll just look at this. Oh, I'll just read that. Oh, I must do this. John invites me to notice. He invites all of us to simply notice. Are we being defined by what we're essentially not? It's a question. Simply by that which we consistently say yes to. Are we becoming what we're not called to? Becoming something else, less fitting, less noble, less true to our essential calling? Are we missing the essence of the best that God has for us, simply because of our willingness to be distracted, our willingness to be drawn away by the latest bright, shiny object, or the cause, no matter how worthy, that is not ours to pursue because it belongs to someone else? So that we miss that for which we have been uniquely gifted, resourced, and called. God bless you. Amen.